Most bad dog behavior is not stubbornness. It is not your dog trying to win. It is usually a dog that was never clearly taught how to focus, wait, and control impulses in real life. That is why a dog can look smart in your kitchen and still pull on the leash, jump on guests, bark at every sound, or ignore you outside. The good news is that one short daily habit can start fixing the root of that problem. 5 minutes. Same time every day. And it can help dogs of any age, from puppies to seniors. By the end of this video, you'll know why this works and how to apply it with what you already have. The habit is simple, but the reason it works matters. Dogs do not learn the way people assume they do. If your dog can sit in the living room, that does not mean your dog knows how to sit at the front door when a guest walks in, or at the park, or during a walk. Dogs need clear repetition in many settings. Without that, behavior falls apart the second life gets exciting. That is where many owners get stuck. They think the dog knows the cue. The dog thinks the lesson only applies in one place. So the gap grows. Then everyday problems start to pile up. A dog with weak impulse control and extra mental energy does not stay neutral. That energy comes out somewhere. It comes out as lunging toward the door. It comes out as barking at the window. It comes out as grabbing the leash, chewing the couch, spinning when visitors arrive, or ignoring you when something more interesting shows up. This is why short training sessions have become so popular with trainers and pet owners. They are easy to repeat, easy to fit into real life, and they improve behavior without turning your whole day into a project. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior in 2018 found that 60% of dog owners reported improved behavior after regular training sessions, lasting 5 to 10 minutes per day. That matters because repetition is what builds behavior. There is a bigger reason this matters too. According to the ASPCA, about 3.3 million dogs enter U.S. shelters every year. Training is not the only reason dogs lose homes, but behavior problems are one of the biggest pressures on owners. When walks feel stressful, greetings feel chaotic, and the house feels harder to manage every week, people get overwhelmed. A 5-minute routine is small, but small habits can change the whole relationship. The mainstream view among groups like the American Kennel Club and the Association of Professional Dog Trainers is clear. Positive reinforcement works. Reward the behavior you want, and that behavior becomes more likely to happen again. This approach has shaped modern dog training for years. Clicker training grew in popularity in 1998 and helped bring attention to short, rewarding sessions with clear timing. Karen Pryor became one of the best-known voices behind that approach. Ian Dunbar said, "Positive reinforcement is the most effective way to create a lasting bond and understanding between you and your dog." There is also a different view. Traditional methods often focus on dominance and correction. Critics of positive reinforcement sometimes say it makes dogs depend on treats. But the stronger evidence in current training practice points the other way. Positive reinforcement is widely used because it teaches the dog what to do, not just what to stop doing. And treats are not the end goal. They are a teaching tool. Once the behavior is understood, many trainers balance food rewards with praise and other rewards your dog enjoys. Now let's get to the habit itself. Your daily 5-minute focus session happens at the same time every day. That detail is not small. Dogs do well with routine. Trainers often point out that dogs thrive on predictable patterns, much like people do. When training shows up at the same time every day, your dog starts to expect the work, settle into it faster, and understand what the session is for. For many dogs, that predictable structure also lowers stress and reactivity because the day feels easier to read. You do not need special gear. You need a quiet room to start, a handful of your dog's regular kibble or a few small treats, and one clear marker. That marker can be a cheerful yes or a clicker. The marker tells your dog the exact second they got it right. Timing is everything here. The session uses 3 simple exercises. First, your dog hears their name and looks at you. Second, your dog sits and stays there for a short moment. Third, your dog hears a release cue that tells them the exercise is done. That little sequence teaches focus, stillness, and self-control. Those are the skills behind calmer greetings, better leash manners, and stronger recall. Start in a room with as few distractions as possible. Stand or sit calmly. Say your dog's name 1 time. The moment your dog looks at you, mark it with yes or your clicker, and reward within 1 second. Not 3 seconds later. Not after you reach into a cabinet. Right away. You are trying to connect one action to one reward with perfect clarity. Do that a few times. Name. Eye contact. Mark. Reward. Then ask for a sit. When your dog sits, mark it the second the rear touches the floor. Then reward. After a few easy wins, wait a brief moment before marking. This is how duration begins. Your dog learns that sitting is not just a quick pop into position. It means settling there until released. Then, add your release cue. Use one word and keep it the same every time. After the short sit, say the release cue in a calm, upbeat voice. This tells your dog the job is over. That matters more than many owners realize. A release cue gives structure to the exercise. It teaches your dog that holding still is part of the lesson, and moving out of position happens when you say so, not when the dog decides. Keep your energy calm. This is not a hype session. You are not trying to wind your dog up. You are building control. A lot of owners accidentally reward frantic energy because they get excited when the dog gets it right. Calm praise helps calm behavior. Always end on a success. If your dog gave you one clean name response and one good sit, you have something to end on. Stop there if needed. 5 clean minutes beats 10 messy ones. Once your dog understands the pattern, you build difficulty slowly. This is where many people rush and lose progress. There are 3 ways to make an exercise harder. You can ask for more duration, which means the behavior lasts longer. You can add distance, which means you step farther away. Or you can add distraction, which means the environment gets harder. Change only one of those at a time, never all 3. If you ask your dog to sit longer, do it in the same quiet room. If you step farther away, keep the time short and the room easy. If you add distraction, lower the other demands so your dog can still win. That one rule keeps training clear. This habit works because behavior builds through repetition, not marathons. One long weekend session does not beat 5 minutes every day. Daily practice gives your dog a steady stream of correct reps. It also helps you get better at timing, rewarding, and reading your dog's focus. What changes first? Usually attention. When you repeat name response every day, many dogs start snapping their heads toward you faster within days. That is the first shift. Your dog starts learning that you matter, that checking in pays off, and that focus is part of daily life. After that, owners often notice calmer greetings in about 2 to 3 weeks. Not perfect. Calmer. That is a better goal anyway. Your dog begins to pause before launching toward people. There is more control in the body. More waiting. Less exploding. Within a month, many owners see a dog that checks in more during walks. Not every second. Not in every setting. But more often. And that check-in changes a lot. A dog that glances back at you is easier to guide past distractions, easier to redirect, easier to settle. This pattern matches what trainers have been saying for years. Short daily sessions build better behavior and a better owner-dog relationship. They also fit real life, which is one reason they have spread so widely through books, classes, social media, and online training. In 2010, dog training tips became much easier to share online. In 2020, the rise in dog adoptions during the COVID-19 pandemic pushed even more owners to look for practical training help at home. As of 2024, online courses and virtual training have become much more common, giving owners more ways to learn humane methods. There are 3 mistakes that can ruin this habit fast. The first is repeating commands. If you say your dog's name over and over or ask for sit 5 times in a row, you teach your dog that the first cue does not matter. The dog learns to wait you out. Say it once. Then make the next repetition easier so your dog can succeed. The second mistake is rewarding too late. If the treat shows up long after the behavior, your dog does not know what earned it. Maybe you meant to reward eye contact, but your dog got the food after looking away, standing up, or sniffing the floor. That creates confusion. Mark the exact moment. Reward within 1 second. The third mistake is only training when your dog is already doing something wrong. If practice only starts when your dog is barking, jumping, or pulling, your dog is trying to learn in the hardest possible moment. Preventive training is easier. It builds the skill before you need it. Then, when real life happens, your dog has something to fall back on. A lot of owners wait for a behavior problem big enough to force action. That delay is costly. The APA reported in 2017 that 68% of U.S. households owned a pet. That tells you how much people care about living well with animals. But love by itself does not teach focus. Routine does. Clear rewards do. Repetition does. And that is the part many people miss. The answer is not always a longer walk, a louder correction, or a dog that needs to be put in place. Sometimes the missing piece is much simpler. Your dog needs a small daily practice in paying attention, holding still, and waiting for direction. 5 minutes. Same time every day. A few pieces of kibble. 1 marker board. 1 quiet room. 1 small session that teaches your dog how to think before reacting. That is how you start replacing chewed shoes, stressful walks, and embarrassing greetings with calmer habits that last. Try the first session today and subscribe for more dog behavior science.